Shalom, welcome. Here we are continuing with another edition of our directed Hebrew immersion in the books of the prophets. We continue our work in 1 Kings. Today we will be doing chapter 13, verses 7 through 8. 7 through 8. Avinu ken יהי רצון כי תמלא את פי בדבריך כי אני יכול לדבר כי אתה רוצה. תהיינה העזר אדוני לכל תלמידי אשר יש פה עכשיו וגם אחריו. לא לי ולך יהיה כל הכבוד. בזכות ישוע HaMashiach. Okay, let's get started. So here we have, this is chapter 13 of 1 Kings, verse 7. Verse 7. And it says, vaydabeir. So of course the verb daber means to speak. And we have this yod here at the beginning. That means he. So yedaber means he is speaking or he will speak. Then we have our vav conversive or vav reversive that changes the aspect. So instead of yedaber, he will speak, we have vaydabeir, and he spoke. Who spoke? Hamlech. Hamelech, the king. So here's our verb, and then here's our subject. Vaydaber hamelech. Then the king spoke. You don't have to repeat he spoke. The verb expresses he spoke. If you didn't have an explicit subject listed here, then you would translate then he spoke. But of course, we're not going to say then he, the king, spoke. That's not what's written. That's not how to translate that. El, unto, ish, ha Elohim. Ish, ha Elohim. We have a construct chain here. And the last word is definite because we have a ha. Whenever we have the definite article on the last word, that means the. And it imparts its definiteness to all the words in the chain. So when we're translating this, we're going to say the ish of ha-Elohim, the man of God. You could say the man of the God. That's really what it's saying in Hebrew. But no need to be so pedantic with your translation. Again, vaydabeir hamelech el ish ha-Elohim. Then the king spoke el unto ish ha-Elohim, the man of God. And because that first word, you see the blue box that's in construct, that's how we knew to say of after it. The man of God. Okay. Any comments or questions? We had heavy rains in the Philippines and there's some flooding in my studio. It surprised me. I thought we had taking care of that with some recent roof work, but nevertheless, there it is. So, Baruch Hashem that all the tech is okay. Thank you for your continued prayers. Okay, continuing on. Boa, boa, iti. Come on, iti for the home. Boa, iti. So if a little mnemonic here for ET, you can think ET is with me. Wherever you go, the alien is with you, the extraterrestrial. ET. Okay. So boa, this is an imperative, it's command. Now usually we would just see this as bo. That extra hey at the end, that's known as a paragogic hey. It's a mouthful, isn't it? And just like the paragogic noon, that paragogic hey is going to increase the forcefulness. Now, some we'll instead call the form a cohortative, imperative cohortative, but it just kind of depends on if you're a cohortative purist or not. Anyway, we'll go the safe route and call it the paragogic K. Okay, so bo, the command form from ba, as in Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, Hallelujah. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hallelujah. Right? And of course, as Mashiach said, you will not see me again until you say, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. So bo is come. And then the hey here is kind of like an exclamation point. Come. We actually, let's use an emphatic color for that hey. Let's give him some magenta, which usually I use for emphasis. Come. Bo. Ah. Boa. Boa. Come. Okay. Boa. Come. Exclamation point. E.T. with me. E.T. for the home. The E is me. And the it is with. Come with me. Eat with me. Havaitah. Havaitah. So ha is the definite article behaving like a definite article should. But then the hey at the end This is what we call the locative. Locative, or some say directional hey. Locative, or directional hey. Okay, good enough. So when you're going to some place, you can slap that hey at the end there. Now this is really interesting because in First Kings, do you remember when Solomon was speaking? I commented that he seems to not use the hey locative in his speech. And now we have a different king, and this king uses it. Uses it. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I pointed out from time to time that one thing that is so lovely about reading the Bible in the original languages is that you see people's speech patterns, even within one book written down by the same prophet, the same sofer, the same scribe. We see the differences in how people speak, which is so cool. Because when you translate, well, when the Bible is translated into another language, this stuff just gets flattened, right? Like in English, when you're reading in English, can you tell that these two kings speak differently? No, because we don't have hey locatives. We don't have those directional aspects in modern English. Some of it you might get in Victorian English or so, right? But not with all the words, right? Like, yeah, you don't get it with everything. So you might get it like with a hither and a thither, something like that, like to here and to here, but you won't get it with everything. So, like for example, houseward, buy it is house, like Dr. House, I am house. Buy it is house. Vayomer is towards house. Habitat is towards the house. Look at that. Translate the last letter first, then translate the first letter, then translate the middle word. I want to zoom in again, make sure you see that. Habitat, coming into English, we say, so boa iti, come with me, habitat. Towards, that's the last letter. That's the first letter. By it, house. I don't know, I found that kind of cool. Any questions, observations, comments? If you are with us in the premiere, go for it. All right, continuing on. So far, boa iti habaita. Come with me towards the house. Usadah. Usadah. U is and. Where's my colors? There we go. Why is it an U instead of a V? Right? Usually when we attach a vav, what do? We like to put a shwa under it. Right? But here, it changed to U instead. Shurik. No one knows why. That's our bump schwa rule, right? Which tells us if the first letter, here it's a samich, is a b or a v, a m or a p or a f, or if it has a schwa under it, then the vav will become a what? Ooh, an ooh. That is the u in bump shwa. That's why that guy is an u. U. Sa'ada. So the verb sa'ad, sa'ad, it means to like to strengthen oneself with food, right? So it's about eating a meal, but the idea is focus so that you could get your strength up, get ready for your journey, right? Be strengthened by eating, by having that meal. Later on in Hebrew, this will develop to mean like a religious meal or a festive meal. Sa'ad, sa'ad, samech, ayin, dalit, if you're listening only. Usadah. And again, we have that paragogic hey at the end, using magenta for emphasis. Some call this an emphatic hey, also a good name. This guy, same as this guy. Good old friend, the paragogic hey. So again, it's an imperative. Just like bo was an imperative. Bo, come. You don't need the ah. Bo ah. Like come now. And se'ad. Eat, have a meal. Ah, now. Indeed, have a meal. Ve'etna. Etna. So this is from the verb natan. The noon is hiding right in here. That's the noon. Doesn't look like it. From natan. See? The final noon is here. He's no longer final. Tav is here. And the noon has gone inside. Etna. The aleph should remind you of the word ani. You have an imperfect form of a verb and there's an aleph in the front. That should remind you of the word ani or anochi, meaning I. So etain would mean I will give from the tan. And that hey at the end again, having the hey at the end of the verb like this produces a form known as the cohortative, right? It's still strengthening the function. You can still think of it as a paragogic hey. So it's like, and indeed I will give, or let me give. Lecha, le, what's le mean? What's lamed mean? Try to answer before I tell you. Here it means to. To cha, to you. What will he give? Vaetna, and I will give indeed, or I will indeed give, or let me give, lecha, to you, matat, matat. A. Now let's look at this. You probably can get it from context anyway. I hope you're not looking at an English Bible, or Russian Bible, or German Bible, or Espanol. Um, it's really hard to see here, but maybe you can pick it out. This word, the root of this word is natan. So that first noon is gone in, and the second one's just gone. Right? It might be that it's derived from the infinitive latet, to give, latet. So it's got that mem kind of performative thing. So it's something that you would give, right? It somehow helps the verb to accomplish its action, which of course here is a gift. Gift. Let me just check on the time. Make sure I'm not overdoing it. Oh, we're good. Okay, one more time. וידבר המלך el ish Elohim. Then the king spoke unto the man of God. Boa iti, come now with me. Habita, to the house. Now he's probably not talking about the actual palace in Shechem. In fact, Rabbi Mordecai makes this exact comment. Mordecai Kogan, in his commentary, comments it's what he means is there's a nearby palace that's got food. Okay, so that's where he's inviting him to. He's not inviting him to Shechem, but that he had some kind of a Bethel sanctuary with a dining hall. Oops, where's my tool? Usadah. Usadah. Oops, looks like we didn't color one of the valves there. Let's get that guy. Okay. Usadah. And indeed, eat a meal, ve'etena, and let me give lecha, to you, matat, a gift. Okay, going to change to the next verse in just a moment. So for those of you who are taking notes, now's a good time. Snap it. All right, changing. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Verse 8. Now I'm going to pick up the pace for verse 8. If this is too fast for you, you can click the gear and slow it down even during the live premiere. That will work. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we're not going too slow for the advanced students, and at least on one verse, not too quickly for the beginners or intermediate students. Okay. This next one I may not diagram because I'm trying to keep these to the right length. Let's just see. Oops, diagram by accident. Okay, zooming in. By the way, these are in 4K and UHD. And if you like what we're doing here, please consider becoming a patron. I really would appreciate that. There are extra goodies, extra videos available for patrons at various levels. There are different benefits, right? Like those of you who are at the $25, that's a tier 2 and up on Patreon, you already have next week's Exodus as a preview if you like, right? So, and there's some other stuff going on over there. You get the early access to the Book of Jubilees as they come out, and Isaiah when I put those out. And there's some stuff about the Jewish Greek and Revelation and all that stuff. So I'm trying to make it worth your while, at least to give you a thanks. But really, I'd hope that your heart would just be wanting to give to help us out for these lessons that we're doing. This is what we do. So it really helps, and we're really grateful. And that's all I wanted to talk about that. That's all I want to talk about. Okay, continuing, verse 8. Vayomer. Then he said, who's the he? Ish ha Elohim. The man of God said, El HaMelech, unto the king. So here on Yomer, I will just mark a couple things. We have that Yod, right? Just as a reminder, that tells you it's he. If there had been an U, it would have been they, but there isn't. There's just the he. Yomer is he is saying, or he will say. And then that vav conversive is changing it. Then he said, that's our verb. And here is our subject. Remember, the typical direction in biblical Hebrew is verb followed by subject. The subject is the one doing the verb. So, vayomer ish ha-Elohim, construct chain. Then, the man of God said, oh, sorry. I don't want to block out the nikodot, the vowels. Okay. El, unto, ha-melech, the king, im titen li, im, or im. This is if titen in ancient Hebrew, titen became titen. The noon is inside of there. So again, we have the verb natan. And that noon is inside of here. It was titen. And the tav at the front of it tells you that this is a second person masculine singular, you. It could have also been a feminine she. It could have been she. But in the context, it's you, and it's usually going to be you. So, if you will give, li, to me. Et, the definite direct object marker. Chatzi, veitecha. Chatzi, veitecha. Chatzi means half of. Beit is the construct form from bayit. So bayit is house, beit is house of, the house of cha. You, the house of you. So your house. Im titen li. If you are to give me, this is probably subjunctive. Like if you look in the Greek, I bet it's going to be a subjunctive. Im titen li. So even if you would give, or if you would give to me, chatzi veitecha, half of your house, or the half of your house, lo avo imakh, lo, not avo. So this is the verb bo again. He said, boa, come now, right? Or indeed come. The aleph at the front, what's that remind us of? When you stick an aleph in front of the verb, that's reminding us of ani or anochi, I. So lo avo, not I will go, or not I will come. Im. This means with. Lo, not avo, I will bo. Im, with. Ach, with you. Why is it ach and not cha? Well, it would have been imakh, but the little etnachta, the little wishbone-looking guy, changes it. He lengthens that to a full comet. So this is still you. I would not come im with you. You guys okay? Any comments or questions? Okay, let's finish it up. Velo okhal lechem. Velo okhal lechem. And not okhal. Okhal is a little bit difficult. So when you have a verb that starts with an aleph, and then has whatever. Thought that was going to be darker purple, sorry. I was not pleased with that. There we go. Okay. So there's our three root letters. Root letter number 1, number 2, and number 3. When the actual first root letter is an aleph, and we want to attach an aleph to the front, right? What happens when there's an aleph in the front? Remember what happens? That's what happens. It reminds you that it's ani, right? The verb here, bo, it's a hollow verb. That's why it would have been beit, vav, aleph, but that middle vav is gone, right? So avo, I will go. So when you want to attach the aleph to the front of a verb that already has an aleph as the first root letter, well, that doesn't really work. It doesn't really work to have two alephs in a row jammed up on a verb. So what's going to happen is, no, I selected this color. Why would you do black? It's nowhere near what I selected. I don't understand why I did that. So I'm going to kind of draw the olives on top of each other, right? They kind of collapse onto one another. So hopefully for you visual learners, this will help. So that's the aleph from the root letter, right? Aleph, kaf, kaf, and lamed, achal, achal. Achal means eat. From this we get okhla or machal, all kinds of words that mean food. Okay. And we're going to attach this aleph here, the one that tells you I, right? Hopefully these colors will be a useful mnemonic for you. Okay, everybody see what's going on there? Okay. Oops, I didn't want to stay big. There and lo. This actually might be an emphatic vav. The vav can mean an exclamation point, so the prophet's kind of speaking forcefully. So this could be an emphatic vav. It could be an exclamation point. You would be justified to translate that way if you like. Though I think we see that more in poetry, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to go with and. You're always pretty safe just to go with and when you see the vav. And lo, not. And so this aleph, it's two, right? It's the aleph that's part of the verb okhal, to eat, and it's the aleph that's prefixed to the word, like we had over here, avo, I will, bo, I will come. In this case, okhal. And this always happens with verbs that have aleph as the first root letter. When you want to put an aleph in front of it to say I. So I will go, avo, but in this case, I will eat. Achal becomes okhal. Okhal. Velo okhal. And I would not eat lechem, bread or food. Velo, and not eshteh. So here we have the aleph functioning normally. I mean, there's no trickiness happening because the first root letter is a sheen. Sheen tav hey is to drink. If you've never been to Israel, when you go, you might want to get a T-shirt that says "Shtu Coca-Cola," and it's got these pretty cursive writing, similar to the English wavy design of Coca-Cola. Drink Coca-Cola, right? I bought one of those shirts one time, and I said, please don't put the English on, because sometimes they put English also, you know. I kind of like it to be mysterious for people instead. So here, this Aleph, he's behaving just like we would think, just like we would imagine, reminding us of the Aleph in Ani, I. I will shite, drink. So, velo, and not. I, what happened? And lo, not eshteh. I will shite, drink. Mayim. What's mayim? Water. Bamakom hazeh. Bait is our inseparable preposition. Bait. Most commonly meaning in. And then the definite article ha left his footprint. Ah and the dagesh. So b in, ah dagesh, the in, b in, ah, the makom, place. So here's our noun. The noun is going to be followed by an adjective, usually in biblical Hebrew. And what's the adjective? Here it's a demonstrative adjective, ze. In fact, ha ze. Ze means this. It's masculine. The adjective, remember, has to agree in number with the noun. So the thing is, makom. Uh-oh, hold on. My tab turned off. I don't really understand what happened there. Hold on. There we go. Woo, that was weird. Following the same pattern. Ah, see that? So b in the makom is a masculine noun, place. And then adjectives must agree in gender, in number, and in definiteness. So we have to have the v there. Ha ze. So literally it says in the place, this one. So bamakom hazeh, in this place. In this place. So one more time too, and then we'll be done. Whoops, I selected the laser pointer. Not sure how I got that. Okay. Vayomer ish Elohim. Then the man of God said, El HaMelech, unto the king, Im titen li et chatzi veitecha, if you will give to me half of your house. Lo, avo, not I will go. Imakh with you. Velo, and not okhal, I will eat. Lechem, bread or food. Oftentimes lechem has the generic meaning of food. Some Asian languages do this with rice. Also, it means rice, but it can also just mean food. So bread being the predominant type of sustenance in ancient Israel, lechem can also just mean bread. It can also mean grain, but much more rarely. We learn from Ugaritic. So velo and not eshteh, I will drink mayim, water, bamakom hazeh, in this place. Any comments or questions before I let you guys go? Just decided to go ahead and be thorough with marking everything up. Why not? Okay, great. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening, whatever the case may be. Join us tomorrow as we work through Koheleth. Koheleth, the book of Koheleth. And if you just can't wait for verse 9, then there's going to be a preview available either today or tomorrow for verse 9 for our tier 2 Patreon members, our tier 2 patrons and above. So you can look forward to that if you want to kind of have a sneak peek at that before we go through it live next week. Shalom, shalom.